All right, I've got so much to talk about. So I'm finally on the road again. I told this in my last video, but it was a major breakdown where my free hub, my rear wheel broke. Just the bearings fell out, the sleeve totally broke in half. It was a major breakage. And so I ended up waiting. So I missed half a day riding that day. And then I was in Dubuque for 2 days waiting for one of the parts to come in. And Dave, who worked on my bike, learned that there was a power outage somewhere that delayed all the shipments. And for those of you who know me, I'm smiling right now because everybody will already be able to complete this sentence, but I'm not a patient person. For example, when COVID occurred, when 9/11 happened, I was traveling to Denver almost every week, but at least every other week. And I just couldn't stand the waiting in the new long lines that started occurring once they opened up the airports again. So sometimes I would drive from Salt Lake to Denver just because I didn't want to wait in the line. Shows you how bad I am with that patient stuff. So this has been just gut-wrenching for me to sit there and not be able to do anything. And the kind of, sorry, I'm trying to shift into a good gear. The kind of funny thing about the whole days that I had off was I was looking so forward because it looked like finally the winds were turning. And in fact, there are two guys that are much faster than me, and they're riding, I think it's for Ride for Blair is the name of their Facebook account. And I got ahead of them only because they took the Paul Bunyan Trail, and I knew they would catch me, and it would be fun to have seen them, but they also made note of how it seems like every day is a headwind. And I noticed that they did 3 100-mile days in a row during the time that I couldn't ride because of the tailwinds that they hit, and just because they're fast. But so it was incredibly disappointing. But I want to talk about some of the people that I met and the things that happened. First of all, I've already talked about, and by the way, I'll try to put some pictures and maybe some videos in of these people, but let me flip the camera the other way. Right now I'm riding on the Heritage Trail out of Dubuque, Iowa. But so Sonny and Ross, who were a Warm Showers host, I talked about them, but I just can't express enough how amazing they were, how kind they were. They did so much for me, and I got to meet Sonny's parents, and I think it was Ron, and I probably got her name wrong. I think it was Nada, but I'm not sure. And they were just all so good to me, and drove me, I don't know, a couple 100 miles it seems like around to try to help me get things fixed and picked up. And so they were the first that just showed me the goodness of people. So that's kind of a cool thing about this ride. And then I went to a bike shop in Dubuque called Bicycle World. And the owner of it his name's Dave, and he told me his last name. I wish I could remember it, I can't. But Dave is a big cyclist, and he, of course, owning a bike shop, but he also, pause here for a second. He also knew the importance of getting me back on the trail, and so he did everything he could to be able to help me get going again. And unfortunately, some things out of his control were the delivery of the free hub.
Hello.
But it came in this morning and he was able to fix it quickly, but it was kind of interesting because I need to be schooled by about everybody I meet, but Dave was talking to me that first day. I think it was like immediately he said he would get it done and thought that he could have it done the next day, and so he ordered all the parts, had them expedited, but the most important one didn't show up. And while we were talking, he probably knew I was really feeling down, and he said, you know, maybe you can take this as an opportunity. Maybe there's people that you'll meet that will be a significant part of this ride. And it was so true, and he was one of them. I know he's a real expert at this, and he did everything he could to get the right parts in and to make sure the bike was in sound condition now, which I hope it is. I know he did everything he could. So Dave was another person. So Sonny and Ross, Dave. But then even an example is after Dave called me yesterday and told me that the free hub didn't make it in again, I caught an Uber and went out to a shopping mall and had Mongolian dinner, Mongolian barbecue, which Lisa claims I've had before. I don't remember it, and it was awesome. And after dinner, I walked across the street to a Hy-Vee, which is a grocery store out here, and I got me some food for in the morning in case everything went well, and got another Uber. I'm going to pause here again. And I waited at the Hy-Vee, and a lady and her daughter picked me up. Let me see if I can get their names right. It was Lavea and Petrina. And I got in the car and they were talking to me, wondering what I was doing, where I'm from, and I told them, and she couldn't comprehend probably the stupidity of doing this, but she just was so sweet. And I told her my struggles, and she kept saying over and over, oh, I'll be praying for you every night. And there was just something about her kindness that really touched me and brought me out of my stupid downer that I was feeling. And that was another example. I tried to put a picture of them. Oh, I said to them, I'd like to get a picture of you. And they were excited about that. And when we got to the end of where they were dropping me off, they said, let's do a selfie. And they jumped out. And I don't like selfies, and my family always wants to do them. I don't like to do them. So they made note of the fact that I don't do selfies with them, but I did it with Lavea and Petrina. But anyway, that was cool. The other thing that happened is, I'll flip this back around. I had a little time, and my helmet has never been comfortable. It's kind of bothered me the whole ride. And Ross was telling me that white helmets help detract the deer flies. So I'm all for that, because I have bites on my back where those little buggers were biting me when riding by the Mississippi River. And so I got a new helmet, and I'm also not a huge fan now of at least of the brand of merino wool shirts that I had. I kept one of them, just left another one behind, and I went to a shop close by the bike store, met with somebody named Marge. She was really helpful and got me a couple new shirts. and I kind of like this material a little bit better. And so now got me some, I thought I lost my other glove, but I got me some gloves, which I haven't had the whole ride. And when it's so humid, it gets really sweaty on my hands, and so this will be nice. So I picked up a few things. I've got a hard day ahead of me. I have to ride from the bike store to a place called Farley, Iowa, about 25 miles, and I have another 50 miles. Unfortunately, I started about 1 o'clock, I think about 1 o'clock. And so it's going to be a long, hot ride. Hopefully no thunderstorms this evening, which they've been having them lately. And I'm trying to get to a town called Lowden. I think Lowden. And anyway, at least I'm riding. It feels such a relief to finally be on the road, and hopefully everything will keep going well and I can keep moving forward. Anyway, that's a long update. Here's a video I made after I first brought my bike in, talking with Dave. So right now I'm in bicycle world, and I don't remember what's wrong with my bike. What was it, a broken through axle?
Your free hub was shelled.
Free hub shelled, that's an official term.
It's
Thanks
shelled.
to Dave, who is going to fix it for me, but unfortunately we have to wait for a part to come in, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. But Dave helped hook me up with an Airbnb, so I'm heading off there. Well, I made it to Farley. I've got 50 miles to go of this beautiful farmland. It's going to be a tough ride. It's kind of late, but I got to get it done. It'll be nice to get to Lowden. But the scenery is so pretty. So I bought this little towel that goes around my neck, and I can wet it. It feels so good. I tell you, I've been struggling today. This is probably one of the harder days I've had. It's been 90 degrees, and luckily that cloud came along and has made it so the sun's not beating down on me. So it's been pretty tough day to day. But I got 23 more miles, and we'll just keep pushing. A nice man back there let me go in his house and fill my water bottles because apparently the town store is closed. So yeah, gotta make it. See ya. So it's, hopefully you can hear me, but it's 7:54, and I'm riding into Lowden, Iowa. And it's been a tough day today. I left probably, I'm not positive of the time, I think it was around 12:30, and you know, that's when my bike got fixed, so I just wanted to get going. Luckily, the trail, that heritage trail that I rode on, was, the gravel slows you down a little bit, but it was shaded, so that helped. But the last 55 miles was really tough. The winds were really strong, and it just made it going tough, going really hard. I mean, overall today, I only averaged 11.7 miles per hour. And with about, I think it was about 20 miles to go, that sun was beating down on me. I was just really tough. I kind of pulled over by a barn alongside the road, which is a little bit shaded. Sat there for about 5 or 10 minutes, see if I could cool down a little bit. Luckily, there was a little town not far from there that I was able to get some more water and kind of stand in the air-conditioned store for a second. But it reminded me of when Dave, Winnie, and Linda and Lisa and I went on a trip to Palm Springs, and it was 110, and I wanted to see what it was like to go out and run. So I went out and ran 6 miles, and before I left, Dave said, "Do you want me to get you a t-shirt that says dumb shit on the front or on the back?" And I think that it wasn't a very good idea to leave. I think it was 90 today, just with the humidity, but mercifully, with probably about 15 miles left to go, the sun went behind the clouds, as it is right now, and the wind kind of stopped. Like right now, it's fairly calm, and I don't know, I'm sure I would have made it, but I wouldn't have made it until very late tonight. But I'm glad to get this ride over. It was hopefully I can catch some days that give me a little tailwind. I think on these areas where everything's spaced so far apart, you kind of have to pick a site that you're going to, and sometimes the distances might be a little more than you may want, and so it would be helpful to have it like that. But I'm staying tonight. I probably should have stayed back there in a little park, but I'd already got a room at the Lincoln Hotel here in Lowden, and looking forward to get in there, hopefully find something to eat, and call it a day. What a neat little town. Everybody's been, not everybody, but a lot of people have been sitting out on their porches, waving to me as I go by. Now I just need to find the Lincoln Hotel. Hey, look at that. There it is. Here's the Strava details from today's ride. Here's today's map. And then here's the overall map. I got in so late that Jake didn't have a chance to update it, but I just added a pointer to about where I think I am at. See you tomorrow.